EDG been for the rest of the Rumble stage? This team looked good at the start of groups, they looked terrible at the end of groups and at the start of the Rumble stage. So they get themselves their first game win here in against TT in game 1, but can they make that into something else? Solo kill, hovering over a solo kill champion, but not going to lock that one in. I think that the Lilia is a huge pick for JJ. It allowed him to control the early game and also be a teamfight threat.
Yeah, and I think for all that Hoya survived a lot of the pressure and got the individual lead, did not leverage it very well in the team fights. I appreciate the looking on to leave. I get the idea, but when it doesn't work and you die and the rest of the game falls apart in the blink of an eye, it gets a bit frustrating. And TT, I think, will want to be a little bit more proactive, have a little bit more control over the river in particular, because they had to seed a lot more objectives in the neutral sense than they might otherwise have been happy with. Looking back towards the Lucian, Yukal had an okay time of it in lane, but didn't really get that much done outside of a good couple early trades.
Yeah, and really felt like that was the result of hard work by particularly JJ and Wink to make sure that there was always an ultimate between the back line and the front line. Made it very, very hard for TT to get there. Now, they are the ones to lock in the Braum, even though the Leona has been banned. So they're locking that Braum to take it away from Wink, but also to make sure that EDG can't deny the back line in the same kind of way.
I think it then sets for a Brand on 3 pretty happily here, because what do you do to deny the Brand damage at that point? You won't have that door up, and Beishwan is an excellent player of the champion. It would be a lot easier without the Braum doing as much work with that. But see what they decide towards. I think that might be a sensible lock-in. Ashe Braum is also very, very potent, and I could see that being a good opportunity to.
And again, the reason why the Ashe Braum is important is because Braum can't go offensive in the way that a Leona or a Rel or a Nautilus can do. The Ashe does that for you, and then you can be what you are specialized in, either defense or follow-up CC, where you apply your passive, you apply your ultimate as well for a good amount of CC, which is hard to land as the first target, but very, very good as a secondary target after that point. Now, the K'Sante can ignore a good amount of that initial engage just by pressing W and going unstoppable. That is a powerful thing that K'Sante can do. It's one of the reasons why K'Sante was very good against stuff like the Renekton and Sejuani in the past as well, because you press W, CC doesn't exactly matter. Yeah. In second round of bans, no significant magic damage from TT just yet. There is a K'Sante. They'll need to look for that somewhere.
That. See what they decide to go towards. They're banning away the Sejuani, as that pairing with the Braum and the Ashe could get real obnoxious. As we see a lot more stuff on in here. The Smolder goes away as well. Just want to deal with that from Leave. Understandably, he got very, very obnoxious. On the other side, see where that Brand goes away. You'd feel like that makes the most sense here. They might just decide one more of those engage options might be a choice here as well. Maybe the cannon away from Hoya might be a call.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. I think take away that cannon. Now, this is why they're umming and ahhing about it, because they have to choose one of them. They choose the cannon. Hoya's been good at that pick. He already was winning that side lane versus solo kill before, so giving him not just a winning lane, but also one which has a huge amount of value would have been very, very powerful for TT. Now, you're deciding between your AP junglers. The Karthus has fallen off a lot. I do think that Brand is a much better tank killer than Karthus because of just his passive having so much percent HP burn on it as well. So that's going to be locked in. Now we leave last pick for Hoya. Taking away that Brand. They could have potentially even left that Brand to the last pick if they wanted, but I suppose it's just nice to get that locked in now, and then Hoya can see the entire team composition and see what he wants to do, side laning or front laning.
It's a lot of there's a term here. Not pressure, like confidence in Hoya to have an option here. Also, pretty happy to see what this is going to work in. The Brand plus the Braum plus the Ashes. A lot of slows and zone control already. They're going to see what they want to lock in alongside. The center Ornn has risen very highly in priority before after the early days of Nautilus in particular being the prime pairing of Senna over the last year or so.
Well, yeah, because it's kind of had this flowchart of Senna Tom Kench, Senna Nautilus, and then the Senna Ornn, particularly when the Nautilus was off the table, but now just in general. And the reason for the Ornn over the Nautilus right now is because you can have another unstoppable to go through the Ashe Braum, and it's also a better long-range backline engage. Problem is, you're still doing that Ornn ult into the Braum shield, so that is less good But it's still ranged engage, which is fairly non-committal. Hoy's going to go towards his Poppy. He does play this a fair amount. It can be fine into that Cassante matchup where you play tank frontline for frontline. Thing is, again, it's another kind of ultimate where you sit there and think, well, what happens if Cassante presses W in front of the Poppy ult, or Ornn presses W in front of it? You lose a lot of value from the big teamfight ults of the Poppy from that. TT do have multiple things that they have to throw at EDG, so maybe they can blow the unstoppable with one of them and then get the use out of the other one in terms of the Ashe arrow, the Ashe Braum combo, and then also that Poppy. It's going to be hard for TT to find the team fights and the picks that they would like, though. So for me, once again, EDG walk away with a pretty okay draft. They showed that they were capable of playing the Lilia with the follow-up damage after that point in game 1. JJ was on great form, and if he's on similar form, this Lilia can still do lots of work.
I think you absolutely can. Of course, they've got tools to deny some of the engage, but I feel like TT have got better go buttons this time. One of the things we noted last game was actually how do they start a fight, especially if they're coming into River second. It was tricky stuff. They found a lot more tools to do that this game. They'll be trying to make the most of it, but I feel like EDG have got some options. Leave on the center as well, a slightly different style of champion, but much like the likes of Jackie Love is pretty confident on it. He's one of the consistent center players around, even if in general EDG have been struggling. Here with another solid enough draft to try and bring TT down 0-2 against the run of play, certainly against expectations. To do it to a very different style of draft.
Into game 2, EDG looking to claim what would be a solid victory after that first game and keep themselves in the running.
Coming on down, but we've got a level 1 starting, so we might have to back up the calls with a little bit of violence as the flash was blown by JJ as Feather on the Braum was in danger of getting some CC down there that the Lilia would not want to manage.
Brian just poking his head into the enemy jungle, into his own jungle rather as well, to see where they were walking over. Braum of course gives you those level 1 plans, so TT try and leverage around that one. EDG currently a team at 1-4, not even at 1-3. If they lose this one, I think they are mathematically eliminated. If you go down to 5 losses, you would be not seeing play in that last chance qualifier, and the next time we'd see them after the Nirvana group would be in 2025, or I guess Demacia Cup, but still, off-season would be a long holiday for this team. I think particularly for JJ, who is the last remaining world champion on this EDG organization, it would be a heartbreak for him. He's had, even on the Doom squad of this year, he's had a good year in an individual performance-wise. He's had ups and downs. He definitely has had his rough games too, but I still think that given the performance of this team and how much difficulty that puts on you as someone to try and play alongside teammates which are struggling, he's done a lot of work.
And I think especially from the jungle, which more than most roles is impacted by the state of the map and what you can do and how you can play the game. JJ has been pretty key to EDG's few wins when they've got them. He's been a large part of why they have got any game wins at all.
Interesting stat popping at the bottom there. We have seen the Corki versus Tristana matchup crop up in the bottom too, and largely the Tristana wins. You can see that one extent Feather trying to play a good trade there. You can see that there's been a lot of Lucian versus Corki, and the Lucian has a slight win rate advantage over the Corki, 12-10. Jungle matchup, largely going towards Lilia recently in this one, which I don't know what they're expecting that, but we've got a lot of great Lilia players here in the LPL. JJ, Xiaohao, Tien, Kanavi, lots of great names playing that pick out to great value. But I always considered that Lucian to be that lane counter versus that Corki, particularly because you can hop over the fast bomb with the rockets. It's not every cast, but seeing it in the win rate there slightly, good to see. It's not a heavy counter, but it helps.
Yeah, and I think sometimes as well that doesn't always come into play in the stats. Like, look at the numbers and you go, but how much of that is coloured by, say, Tristana, for example, or maybe actually second there as a double knockup. A little bit, so that was, we might see a bit more of an all-in, but it was just a...
Sorry, you were saying about the Tristana.
Yeah. And I'm just saying that, like, one of the reasons. So say sometimes when like, other regions looks a bit dodgy is because, well, who's actually allowed to play the Tristana? It's maybe the mid laners that are struggling a bit more because they don't trust them to actually be able to do the work for a top tier mid might.
Yeah. But I will say, the good thing about those stats for this matchup is that it's become such a common matchup, we see it everywhere. So the Corki Lucian having, you know, the 12 wins against the Corki and the 10 wins against the Lucian across the whole spectrum of the LPL, I think that gives us a better picture of it. You know, it's not a hard counter, but you're happy to pick the Corki into the Lucian. It's not a losing matchup, and you still have a Corki that can teamfight later into the game. But I think it just goes to show that you can just pick a lot of AD carries mid right now and get that value out of them. And there's some moments where you can get some decent lane matches between the Zeri, the Lucian, and the Corki and the Tristana, all of them kind of getting different matchups against each other. And it's just then comfort of player, comfort of matchup.
Hoya there as well, proving that he's a bit of a master of the Poppy. Making sure Solo Kill suffering up here a little bit. It's actually not bad in Kasane because you can deny so many of the dash combos he likes to pull out. It's really obnoxious.
His E, his W, you can't deny his ult because he's unstoppable. And it's technically a blink, not a dash as well, for the ults at least. But particularly early game, Poppy's damage is nuts. Really nuts. To the point where you can occasionally see Poppies go towards Sundered Sky for even more lane bullying, because it allows them to be just really, really good at kind of throwing the buckler out, getting that first auto. I think I've even seen Sundered Sky clips at points. But in the LPL, typically we're against that Kazanti. It won't lead to kill trades at that point. You'd rather just be a strong frontliner. I think particularly in this game too, you'd like that.
Saw Teacher Mara become a coach, was coaching one of the previous teams he was on. I was thinking I was going to make a comment about bullying and summoning Teacher Mara to deal with it in the coaching room, but alas, it works for a different school, so to speak. You wouldn't know him.
He used to be, well, he's currently the coach of RNG, which is a fun thing. He used to be on Team W.
Yeah,
he was on Team W, so he was there for a while. He was in that weird position where he basically didn't play that much solo queue, so he actually didn't have the required solo queue elo to play in the LPL due to LPL regulations, so he had to spam out solo queue. He just about got there in time. But now he's a coach for RNG, so you can see him on stage. He was brought in to be the stage coach through this year. So, yeah, it's a fun story. Munchables love talking about it, we should talk to him about it sometime. So, this guy was like one of the most cerebral players where he'd play the Galio, and he's one of the greatest Galio players of all time. TT gonna get themselves that first dragon. Grub spawning in 20 seconds. TT gonna potentially roam up towards that. JJ's on top side already. Level 6 is gonna be hit by our solo lanes just before those grubs are hit. Yukal with flash and barrier might just be able to, and of course the ultimate, might be able to walk into river and help a little easier because he's already got that mid push.
JJ's not going to quite be able to get to 60 minutes. A little early on those swell seeds, I saw that.
Well, I wonder if he's doing that for vision.
That to spout out, yeah.
So I think he was doing that maybe just see if there was anyone in the pit. He doesn't have this now, but his passive's ticking down nice and easily. Leave has roamed up towards topside, and he's kind of the pseudo support. Feather's not roamed up towards topside early enough. That will be the first grubs easily going to EDG, question mark.
Could be. Has a smite available, maybe forced to pop one. Uses it on the Scuttle Crab, interestingly. Secure that instead of anything else. Maybe thinking they can still fight this, but no. 2 grubs now go over to TT kind of as a result. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I mean, getting the XP from Scuttle Crab is nice, and getting ahead in the individual jungle matchup is nice, but now this is going to be a question we'll return to in terms of was this worth it when it comes around to second round of grubs, because if TT managed to get towards 4 or 5, that could be huge. That could be huge. Now, we've got TT walking to the bot side of the map. JJ does have level 6. Need to be careful here. Yukal just got pinged, but there's no follow-up here.
We got from the Scuttle Crab, so on the other side, Beijing did get 6, I believe, off the small raptors, so is matching now anyway, so in the grand scheme of things, the jungle level discrepancy that was there for 20 seconds or so no longer really has any impact.
So in terms of individual jungle XP and gold, getting the 1 grub for the doubled up XP and then also getting that Scuttle Crab is probably better than getting the 2 Scuttle. Well, it is better in terms of that than the 2 Scuttle Crabs, so that's one thing. Then immediately Beatron goes in and takes a couple of small raptors, makes it a bit more of an even trade again at that point. So, yeah, just weird decisions coming in from EDG. I mean, they do need JJ to have a good game. He needs to have a good game. If he's in that position, that's a good hop over the fast bump. Well, not going to get the solo kill, but you need JJ to have a strong game on this Lilia if he needs to win.
JJ is now coming on down 1xN, forced to flash on out from the Swell Seed and the Core of the Forge God turning around, but now they get an arrow instead onto lead. He does manage to get down that curse of the Black Mist and prevent any easy autos. My days, that ability is very annoying.
See, already, Wink has a CS lead over 1xn. You have to compare support to AD carry. Typically, the way that you figure out whether the center or lane's going well, you don't mind being behind a little bit in gold as the 2v2. You compare both of those gold leads, is one bigger than the other. As you can see, EDG as a duo have more gold than the other duo, and they may be getting more than that now with the bot dive.
1xn, no flash, gets flash knocked up, in comes the blooming blows, 1xn gets blood before he goes down. Turret shot of the GG, not quite enough!
Oh, 14 HP!
Oh my days, could have been a 2-for-2 in a disaster, stays alive.
14 HP is 13 more than he needed. So 1xn does pick himself up a kill, which is nice. But we were just saying, hey, how do you tell the difference between a center on lane and a regular lane? Well, you compare the duo as a whole to a certain point. Now, you can see that 400 gold lead has already come through the 2v2 because 1.1k is 400 more than a 700 gold lead for 1xn. 1xn will still be quite powerful, but still, EDG getting that on to a point of power is not what TT want. Ornn is one of those people who can stand in that front line, press W, much like Asante can go into the front line and press W, and get that unstoppable to deny a lot of the combo. Feather takes the route away from 1xn. The knockup does come through onto him all the same, even with the barrier coming through. 1xn gets that cleanse for a quick turnaround. Judges, no caught, no flash.
Oh my days, he burned the flash onto the turret, will likely go down here, denying that kill. And it will be Beishwan who should pick it up with the last auto, and does so. Cryon will Valkyrie out to safety. Curse the Black Mist lands on you, Cal. Just be a piercing darkness afterwards. Grubs a minute away from spawning, but that's another kill back, and a nice punish for the JJ and his enemy jungle.
Yeah, so JJ goes down, taking his own camps. TT gets some gold onto their Brand, and Brand doesn't have a Braum shield to block his ult this time, which means that Brand might be doing Brand things once again. It's been so fascinating to me to see that Brand struggled weirdly against Braum, who is a melee tank who typically Brand loves playing into, because he can deny that ultimate's huge. From 1xn doesn't have plans or flash, steps out of the knockup. Great play.
Still dead though, the slow's coming on alongside the call of the Forge God. Stop recalling his own bush, but a fantastic ult by some time. Can't quite get the kill. 1xn just about gets away with it with some very clutch decision making.
That was insane. Just about gets out of vision into that brush, gets the stun onto the Ornn before he can get that ult through, and he lives because Beishwan comes to the rescue. 1xn spared a grisly fate after being caught on a recall by his own good play. Does blow that ultimate, which is a tool he won't have available, but he does have his life for now.
The problem is he's going to lose two ways. Lost one initially on that dive, which would have evened up the CS for the Ornn. Now forced her back again after being attacked resetting. He'll lose another wave, which is a bit frustrating for the Ashe, who, despite some clutch play there from 1xn, is still losing some resources.
Yeah, so, EDG, they're going to get themselves the grubs. Okay, so giving over the one earlier, it doesn't mean that it's going to deny them 4 grubs if they get all of these. Are they going to get all of these? Got a lot of people walking over. They might look for leave to get a route on someone walking up to the grubs. If they can get that, it will stop TT getting it.
They are missing the call of the Forge God, though, pretty problematic. Yucal, though, hit with an early Swirl Seed. Gonna be put to sleep. Not lost the culling out yet. Solo kill. Desperately low. That teleport kind of sucked.
It's going to be 3 grubs to 3 TT. They managed to get into River. I think Leave needed to look for a better route in the choke point so they could look for a big combo before TT got into that River. Beishwan's going to walk up, get the passive. He's not going to get anything more than that. So that's going to be just him stopped from recalling. TT get themselves a good fight. They get themselves 3 grubs off of this play.
Wink will teleport into the mid lane. Of course, they are running 3 TPs this game to stop any more junk happening onto that mid lane turret. Still, a kill and an evening of the grubs. They'll get to turn towards the dragon after the resets come on 3.
So this is the fun play from 1xn, who dodges out on the knockup, gets away from the wall. Wolves are not your friend versus Ornn. He gets himself... Oh, he doesn't quite get himself into the brush, but he does manage to stop the ultimate coming through. Then we go through to the grub fight. Well, we have to visit that first fun fight first. Solo kill, just not a good TP. There's no follow-up. I think that Leave had to try and fire a route out into that choke point first, so Solo can have to teleport at that moment if it was going to happen. TT, they just immediately use that pop ult to eject people from the play, and TT walk away with the fight.
GHA only really gets an ult onto Yucal, who dashes over the wall and gets an auto off while he's going to sleep anyway, so doesn't even drop that much DPS, so a couple things go a bit awry there. And then instead of teleporting into a group of sleeping members, Solo Kill teleports into a group of very angry TT moments as Hoya finds Cryon. He'll level up on the Poppy right now. Will not pop the W quite yet. and just gets an auto trade as a hello to the Corki.
I mean, the Corki Valkyrie is slow enough that you can react to it with the W if they're melee range. Corki should never press Valkyrie if on top of the top.
Oh, yeah.
It will just get you killed at that point. So, Hoya, 1.4k up. He's going to be so hard to deal with. Eventually, we'll get to the point where JJ Grindley will still kill him all the same. But the fact that he's able to 1v1 the Corki at this point in the game, where Corki's early game damage is very good. Bit of a problem here. I'm throwing up the buckler and getting good value out of that one, tanking up a load of the CC, the damage rather, and getting doesn't really have CC, especially not with the package anymore.
Yeah.
But Hoya, having a good game so far on the Poppy. It's a pick which Birdle and him really kind of exclusively play.
He does have CC. It's called Death. It's the only CC in the game.
Yeah.
It's like 40 seconds at stages in the game. You can get to like a minute's worth of CC, Alex.
Yeah, no, he doesn't have the package anymore, but he's still carrying a big package in terms of that damage.
That's
yeah.
what
Yeah, no. I'm not. If FedEx, that would be so. Oh man, that would have been so good. The FedEx Cork. I mean, this is the brand activation you're missing in League of Legends. You could have had like
the mailman jokes would write themselves.
I'm trying to think. If there are any fast food? Obviously, there's Sharima fried chicken, and we might be seeing meal best served cold on the top side.
The flash, not even got a chance to pop the Valkyrie and burn down. Flash is one thing, but cannot flash the hardest CC of death that we've just been discussing.
Did someone order a Corki? Order up, goes down on that top side. Yukal gonna get himself that top lane out of turret 2, so extra gold into that Lucian. He has himself the Cull pop, so Yukal is swimming in gold right now. Harold is also spawned. Cryan does have teleport. Will he teleport in time? Well, will he be alive in time to teleport for the play?
Certainly be in a dangerous position. Teleport now coming on down. Thunder Torque available to do some more.
Oh, the passive.
Passive comes on through.
Oh, no.
On to JJ afterwards as well. Hoya goes into the backline, gets a knock up with the point blank. Keeper's verdict flash for a double tap brings down the Ornn as well.
Why? After a whole year of seeing this godforsaken champion being played, are we not walking the brand passive away from each other? Yukal gets the triple, pops the barrier, won't get more, but TT find a brand moment.
Gets the quadra kill. They'll lose a kill back. He finally falls as the Dawning Shadow brings down Senna's spouse, but Lucian has done the damage already. Herald comes careening in to the tier 2. I don't think Leave can stop this deluge of minions. Maybe a little bit too risky to stay with some teleports available from the likes of Solo Kill and Wink. So TT, I think, perhaps wisely back away. The minions just about get the turret, not enough wave clear. And TT get both turrets in the grand scheme of things.
1xN also gets kill participation there too, so they do get the local gold because Ash's portrait showed up on that. Right, folks, we have seen Brand ever since the very first game of this year in LPL. BLG played it in the very first day of LPL. You should not walk the Brand passive into your teammates. Scatter. Leave one person to die and not all three. Huge mistake coming through from EDG. The instincts of League of Legends are we have to run away from the follow-up damage. The damage is already there. You must split. You cannot break that splash damage onto everyone. And the fact that Yukal managed to find JJ across the wall there too, extra insult to injury. EDG, I mean, what more can you say? Don't walk Brand passive into your teammates.
Yukal waits for the eagle down. Relentless pursuit into the double tap does him in, and he's finally brought down by Senna, but the damage is done. Yukal now after that play all the way to 5 delicious kills and a cashed-in Cull.
Yeah, folks, we should be getting to the point where the team recognition should be, we are going to die after Brand damage splashes. If the ultimate is thrown onto you, one person at the start of the fight should literally run into the enemy team and die as a preference to bringing it back into your team. Arrow's coming through. When he gets himself to E, should be in a bit more safety now. Hoya gets the wall stun.
Oh, nice knock up on Oliva's forced to flash after Glacial Fissure pulled back from it. Now EDG might look for the turnaround. They land a route onto the Brawn, but it is Feather. As we said, that is not the easiest time to turn around and leave down at half HP. We're going to hear a little bit with the Piercing Darkness. A teleport into the mid lane on the ward that is there. Soul Point would be available for TT, or the Forge Gun onto Beijuan, who has still got flash, not taking that much damage back. Wink in danger as the Pyroclasm flies across a couple members. Wink down to about half HP. Still has the teleport for a reset, but Call of the Forge God was burned to no avail.
That's a bit of a weak Brand ult, but it might just be enough. JJ still has his ults.
Goes Feather, puts the door up, Leave to get a bit of a root and some damage back. One for the Soul Point. Onto the backline, the teleports come flying on through alongside a Senna ultimate. Can go on forwards, his solo kill. Burns out 1xN into the backline. Wink trying to get some damage on in. Yukal without the flash, without the barrier, trying to run away. Beijuan will fall. And TT, punished by the number of teleports available. Yukal nearly gets something back with the culling. but can't quite manage it. Another 2 fall. They can look for this tier 2 as an EDG do fight back a little bit.
Yeah, and TT, this time the brand ult doesn't work. It's not that good. It only bounces between 2 people, and they end up kind of separating away from each other. It gets the passive onto Wink, but as we saw, Wink had the teleport. He could come back. Baytron, I think he threw out his ultimate a little too easily here. This replay doesn't even show, sadly, but he doesn't get huge value out of it. And the important thing is, he doesn't have it now. JJ gets himself that flash forward for that ultimate feather. The door holder falls, and that's a lot of the front line and the disengage potential of TT going with it. You can now dive into this team. Nothing to stop the center ult, which can be blocked by the Braum shield as well. Wink gets himself a delay on the back there, which means that they can't come to the help of Baytron, who does go down after this. And EDG, they walk away with a good team fight. They even have some objective bounties after this point, which brings them even closer to even. Soul point still there for TT. That's a victory for them, but EDG getting more than they expected.
And we've often criticized EDG's coordinations in team fights. That was pretty coordinated. Nice teleports, particularly from the likes of Wink to get into the backline. Felt really good there. And Sana scaling up has gone towards the Kraken Slayer for more consistent DPS against some of the frontline members that might otherwise be a little tricky to take out with this composition. He's looking pretty good.
Last time that Leaf was playing the center, he was playing this build too. You don't always have to go towards the lethality. This gives you that good damage. It's not necessarily as good in terms of, so your Q has a lethality scaling on it. It means that as a caster, when you're just weaving in auto Q autos, instead of getting better auto attack uptime, you can get more value from this. But the better your auto attack uptime is, the better the Kraken Slayer gets. That's the long and short of it. Also gives you extra movement speed too, which Center of course loves, as being a champion with limited mobility. That he can help you, but Leaf can get into that position where he can stand behind one of his tanks without the Brandel pass, like splashing onto him. EDG do have themselves the ability to peel for that center. They have a very good front line if they're allowed to stand there without the brand burning.
It's a big if though. Again, it's not going to get any easier. Infernal Soul is available for TT, who were punished for the takeoff. I think secured it nonetheless, and that's still very much a win condition in this game. Oh yeah, just stepping it forward to clear up that wave. Crying unlikely to do much damage into this Poppy quite yet. It's still only at 1 item. Should surely be out of Muramana. Pretty recent back. In fact, I suspect if we look at this back next, will be at least at the core field. Maybe the full completion. Yeah, doesn't quite have that, unfortunately, for them. But after all the kills that went over to Yukal, it's a little bit behind the curve, all things said and done.
Yeah, Yukal had Coal Cash, inside lane turrets, loads of kills. He's had everything given to him. Crying on the other side, man. Quite anemic. Should have kept Vampire for that one. The blood been sucked out of that Corky. Yeah, he's going to need to find himself somehow to do damage. He's not going to do damage to the spawn. This is the thing, right? You need to see how good that shield usage is going to be. That's a good brand ult. That's a good brand ult.
The turnaround is huge. In comes the arrow, and Wink blinks down to right flash for the stun into the wall afterwards from Hoya, who knows exactly how to pilot this champion. 2 dead, including the jungler, who burned flash in the last dragon fight, allows TT to run right back to, you guessed it guys, the big purple one.
Like, if Brand gets a good ult, the team fight's won. If he gets a bad ult, DDG still have a chance. TT find themselves another clump of EDG players. They play around the minion wave, they clump up too far together, the passive starts splashing. TT get themselves easy kills, easy Baron. That's getting the good timing as well, because the dragon's spawning in a minute. They'll be able to reset, push out waves, and get themselves to that dragon. Yes, they give up the mid lane turret, but EDG are on the ropes. They get themselves 2 turrets, but they still need to be able to reset to get back towards this dragon, which could be a bit of an issue. It starts with Baytron getting his passive onto Wink. He almost gets himself that crown punish onto Baytron, but they clump up too much in the attempt, and that allows the brand passive and ultimate to get huge value. JJ has to dodge out of the Braum ult, but it's a dodge which puts himself into a kill threat zone from Hoya. So good trade there out from TT. They will now need to fight without those flashes on Hoya and Baytron, but EDG, they're still now behind in setup and behind in gold. It's not getting that easy.
Credit on the flash predict there from 1xN on the arrow. We've got credit on just the straight flash from Hoya to punish JJ with a great wall slam. Backport gold now can start to shove out some of these lanes and ensure that it's a tricky old map state to play in, but now a turnaround with the Call of the Forge got onto 3, and the Lilting Lullaby is good. Gets onto base one, who throws some damage back, but is in danger of falling. GG is in the middle of absolutely everyone. Jungle is traded, both down. Teleport's coming back on in. Flash on in for a knockup. Doesn't get that much value, as they will still get solo kill, who is turned around in the middle of 4. The backup damage from Leaf can start to get scarier, but they're just getting rooted in place. Yukal free firing alongside the Ashe and Leave alone. There's the last man standing for EDG. Soul secured for TT, surely.
And Leave can't do it alone. JJ flashes in, can't find the play. Cry goes Meller Engine the Corky, can't find it. TT, they're going to very likely get themselves that dragon. Leave trying to steal it. The Q can go through the shield. It's not going to happen though. Infernal Soul over to TT, and not for the first time in the last few weeks. Leave is left scratching his head at what more he could have done. He's not had a great year, but in the last week, Leave has really tried to team fight EDG's successes together. It just hasn't happened. Go back to this replay. See that the door from Feather gets huge value later into this fight. He puts up the door in front of UCal, and then Wink tries to thread the needle, but there's no way he's getting past that door. He maybe should have just thrown it into Feather all the same. And you can see JJ is now left alone in this front line. He gets gunned down completely. Watch the second cooldown of this door as well. It makes a real mess of things as well, because Crying and Leave going into Hoyer and Feather just can't get the damage done. Wink can't get the CC either. UCal keeps his dash available for that one. UCal kites this out so well, and most of this fight is effectively EDG just failing to get their hands on the slippery carries.
Credit to Feather for a Glacial Fissure that knocks Crying up and prevents him, I think even mid-Valkyrie, from getting damage down. So he's stuck in the middle of the river.
I thought that
not
was the
doing
Steadfast Presence.
No, it was a Glacial
Right,
Fissure.
okay, right, well played. 1xN, he has no flash and his ult is now down as well. EDG, they really don't have the stats to deal with Feather and Hoyer now. They're just not killing that front line. Leave needs a Lord Dominus regards, and he's just not getting there in time. If he has that, maybe things can change. I think that EDG need to give gold over to Leave at this point. Just power farm up for that.
Yeah, he's got enough souls, I think, to be enough for just needs more items. And in fairness, Senna, we know, can be an absolute menace. She kind of hits those range breakpoints and item breakpoints, but that's easier said than done. This Brand's not getting any weaker. This Lucian, this Ashe, hardly slouches at this point either. The Bloodthirster in alongside the Barrier means UCal can just stand there and deliver against so many of these members too.
Yeah, and this is why we see UCal picking up the Lucian and a couple of other mid laners who... So UCal, I think Xiao, who falls into this category as well, looked less confident on stuff like the Corki. They look much better on the Lucian. There are a lot of LPL mid laners which like to see that Lucian back. LPL always was the region of Lucian mid laners. It was the first region to pick it up. The first time we saw a mid lane pro Lucian in mid lane. Xiao, who at MSI 2016, thank you, beat me to the punchline of my story there, Sam.
I'm here to support.
Yeah, and then he took it towards top lane, and the whole region has followed suit in regards to that. So seeing that Lucian back for UCal, of course, one of the great Korean mids as well, gonna get himself into a position now where he can just, as you said, stand and deliver, look for the kills.
Ooh, they're gonna try and body block a lot of the Glacial Fissure afterwards, puts Leave in a very tricky position, down to about 20% HP, heals up a little bit with a Piercing Darkness, but is immediately hit by a volley. And the Brand passive begins to do some burning. You'll note that Wink has gone towards the Hollow Radiance here to try and manage the soul AP damage, but means he has very little armor. A Warmog's Hollow Radiance has been upgraded, is not the most armor. Now has a couple cloth armors in the back pocket, but has been slow to get towards that breakpoint despite the fact he is foaming. Yeah,
I'm surprised that Wink even goes towards the Sunfire Cape item in general. Go towards something which gives you more tankiness, mate. You need to be that front line. TT gonna push in with that Infernal Soul. Ooh. Great passive from Beitron. So much damage coming across. Pulls that ult out as well, and suddenly the tanks are half HP.
They are not really all that tanky. I think they are just full of leaky holes at this point. Not great at carrying water. Certainly not at holding on to the game, it feels like. Down, what, 7,000, 8,000 gold at this point? Forgive my maths on air, but there we go. Not a great space to be in right now if you're an EDG fan.
So EDG, they got that. They got themselves the Lilia, which worked for them before. The Senna has been a pick for Leave, which he's gotten a lot of value out to, and he has himself got Lord Dominus regards, so maybe that will change something in the future. But he's finding it quite hard to think like that because Infernal Soul for TT and this Braum as well is making this game so hard. Braum is a power pick in the series because we've got both of these teams looking for huge engages. That Braum has been the difference.
Credit over to Hoyer as well. I want to shout him out. Mikhail's third item here to prevent even things like the Lilia sleep being an easy option onto the AD carries. That big play from JJ gets so much harder now when your Lilting Lullaby combo isn't going to be that easy to get onto a key target.
So, EDG, can they flip around a Baron or an Elder? That feels like no win condition now because TT, they have huge items, huge amounts of gold above EDG. They're pushing in this mid wave, and it just feels like the next Dash Arrow, if it hits onto a key target, will be the end of things. You can use that W to go unstoppable. The E goes back instead.
Dash for a bit more root. You can't go unstoppable. Everything wall slammed afterwards. Leave it with a Glacial Fissure, and the Brand passive does the rest. Another two members down. Bot lane dead. TT can move right back towards the Baron. Thunder talk, walking the walk.
Fantastic Ash Brawl combo. Feather gets himself that follow-up onto Leaf. Doesn't flash the Brawl ultimate, goes down. I think he would have been able to teamfight anyway. Probably still would have been a barren start, but that makes it even worse. Baytron's brand has been utterly disgusting, but it has been enabled by the fact that TT have had a strong front line and a great Ash Brawl combo to enable the damage coming through. You can see that right here. It's not even a vulnerable ward. One extent goes onto an enemy ward, but the spread goes onto Leaf. Wink kind of charges the brand damage onto Leaf.
Yeah.
I feel like the front line of EDG have not understood the assignment of, look, sometimes you have to die for your backline. If you don't bring that brand damage onto the center and you buy that brand ult, maybe there's a chance they can 4v5 after. Wink should have just W back instead of that E, I feel.
And sometimes your health bar is deceptive with the brand passive on you. Because it looks like, I've got half HP. No, you don't. It's just waiting to go down by another 20, 30,
So
100%.
this is when we talk about like the positioning between frontline and backline, the spacing between them, the shape of a team fight. That is where it becomes important. If the brand damage is on a tank, which is right next to this center, it doesn't help Hoyas going forwards. Leaf escapes right now, though.
Aura goes wide, flash on in, knock-up comes through. Golden, though, means the dawning of base one is in danger. JJ can go in. They've killed off the brand, but the brand passive from beyond the grave is foul. Yes, you killed him, but the damage is done.
JJ gets a great ultimate, but it's not enough. There are too many cleanses. There's too much work going through, and TT will even up the series 1-1.
And a flash on forwards for a couple more autos, and the Ardent Blaze brings down the last remaining member. TT make this one an even state of affairs. One final game to determine the winner.
TT, they turn up in this game too. They realize that Braum is a power pick. They realize what exactly Brand could do when that ultimate is not blocked by a big old shield door. And they show EDG the door in this game too, as they bring it back to even.
Well, that one turned out to be a lot less close when the Brand got to do damage. That was a lot harder for EDG to play out, I think it's fair to say.
That it is. Folks, welcome back. Hello.
Hi.
We're casting League of Legends here today. There is no official English broadcast on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and you realize, oh, where can we go watch that? You can watch it right here. Every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday when there is no English broadcast, you can come watch it here. My name's Nymaera. I'm on the LPL official cast as well. You'll catch me there over the main broadcast. And this is my brother, Initialise. We've cast together for many years. His name's in the title. Go drop him a follow. Of course, drop a follower at Prime here as well if you can. We're not paid for this. This is just a co-stream. We're sat here. We're trying to do as little ads as possible to make sure they're not in game as well, so you can enjoy a more formal broadcast experience if that's your kind of thing. You know, we've got over 2,000 viewers here on Twitch. There's another like 1,000 odd on YouTube as well. It is very flattering that you're turning up here to watch as well. That already means a lot. But if you can drop a follow, a like, or whatever, it means a lot to us.
All of that.
God, I am tired and my voice has not been doing well over the last week.